and I am joined by the one and only Mr. Miller Time, Steve Miller. Steve, how are you doing today on this Sunday, January 8th?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Our fantasy championship actually is going to end today. We were
Oh,
supposed to end
really?
last week. Yeah. We had people that were involved in that Cincinnati Bills game, so that all got
Yeah.
pushed to this week. So
Yeah. And just real quick, and I'm sure we'll mention it throughout the show, but it's just so awesome and encouraging to see what's happened in that situation. Like it's really been about the best result possible, for what happened. So I'm very excited for Damar Hamlin and his family and everyone, his friends, just everyone, teammates. I mean, just around the whole NFL, you could just feel it yesterday. There was a sense of hope and excitement that, really was dampened by what happened this week. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, with you being a player, I know you didn't play in the NFL, but in college and everything, I can only imagine what you were going through. I mean,
I've never seen anything.
Or?
I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
It was. I can't imagine how it must have been for the players. Like
Mm-hmm.
all those guys are so young, and a lot of them probably haven't been around death that much, based on the age that they are. So,
right,
it's I'm just happy that the guy's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I remember Ryan Clark. He was saying, when I was 24, I didn't even realize I could die. And that's the way a lot of those people think. Because like you said, they're so physically fit and their hearts are in great shape and everything. And you just don't ever think that could happen on such, it was really a routine play. I mean, it wasn't like a super hard hit or anything like that. So it was crazy, but I'm glad that things have turned around. So
for sure,
hopefully he continues to completely recover. All right. So this slate, we've got a lot of teams that don't have a lot to play for, some that do. Way more that don't. So how we're going to approach this slate today, we're just going to focus mainly on the games with teams that do have something to play for. Probably going to skip quite a few of these games. So we'll go ahead and start with one team that is in the playoffs. They've clinched their division. I could see them resting some starters, and that's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta's favored by 4. Game has a 40.5 over-under. To me, it's just Tyler Algier is probably the only play that I really like. He's been getting about 18 carries or so every week, so I do think that he's going to get a lot of carries again. He's a young player. They don't really have a reason to reserve him for the future or anything like that. So I mean, I think he'll get a decent amount of carries, but besides him, there's not really a whole lot that I like in this game. What about you?
It's a funny game, but Buccaneers gelled so well last week. You're right, though. Like they're not going to want to risk any injuries, but I feel like they're going to come out throwing the ball. You might only get 2 quarters of it, but I think Brady wants to, and the whole Buccaneers organization wants to continue that momentum from last week and move it into the playoffs. That's just kind of how they are as a team, and that's how Brady has always been as a player. So. You could potentially throw those guys kind of into the mix because I just know where they want to be next week in the playoff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see that. I could also see maybe, around the third quarter they pull Brady. So that's probably my main concern. But I mean, he had 450 yards or something passing last week. He was just absolutely tearing it up. So
4 touchdowns.
Yeah. And Carolina's defense is better than Atlanta's. So, he could put up 250.5. I mean, it's possible.
For sure.
So, yeah, I could see that. The next game we have, this is a completely different story. The extremely motivated, encouraged, inspired, however you want to say it, Buffalo Bills. They're favored by 7.5 against the Patriots, 43.5 over under. I think Buffalo wins this game going away. I just think there's so much on their side in this game. I just can't imagine the amount of energy and intensity that they're going to have today. So, I like Buffalo big today.
Yeah, I like Buffalo as well today. New England's without Jalen Mills, one of the cornerbacks. They're down to their last set of DBs in over there. Everyone's been getting hurt over there. It is a do or die game for for the
New
Patriots.
England. Yeah.
Yeah, for the Patriots, and I don't know what Belichick's scheme is going to be. Probably to try to take away Diggs, but I just don't see how you do that with
Mm-hmm.
all those people injured. I do see Buffalo kind of running away with this game, like you were saying, especially just from all week and everything that's been going on.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm excited to see the Bills play today for sure.
Me too. Me too. And I think we see MVP Josh Allen play today.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll have probably 4 touchdowns or something. He just have a monster game. I do think Stephon Diggs could have a nice game. He did have a nice game last time they played. I also like James Cook. I think he's going to get a lot of carries because they're probably going to have a nice lead like we were talking about. And then, of course, the Bills defense. I think they're in a great spot too. So I really like Buffalo. Anybody on the New England side at all that you like, or just the Buffalo players?
I like Stevenson. The Bills haven't been the greatest against the run in the past couple weeks and majority of the season. So I could throw Stevenson in that lineup. Again, the Patriots, it's win or go home. So there could be a couple sneaky plays within that New England side that might be able to get you over just based off of value and ownership. There could be a couple guys in that mix that will that'll win you some money this week.
All right, the next game we have another kind of a similar situation as the first game we talked about. The Vikings, they've wrapped up the NFC North. I think they can play for the 2 seed maybe, but not a whole lot of motivation for them. I think they'll probably rest some starters. I saw Zadarius Smith and Harrison Smith are both going to be out today. I would expect quite a few other Vikings. I think Justin Jefferson will play. He's trying to get that record. It's a lot tougher now with what happened last week, but he still has a shot the way that he's capable of putting up numbers. But I think Alexander Madison is a good play today. I think KJ Osborne. And even though they don't have Harrison Smith and Zadarius Smith, I think the Vikings defense could get some turnovers against Nathan Peterman. I mean, he's proven in the past that he likes to throw interceptions. So
yeah, he loves throwing picks.
So that's.
I remember one game years ago, Peterman, when he played for the Bills, I think he had 5 interceptions.
Man, yeah. In one game. So, so the Vikings. Anyone on the Chicago side, or just the Vikings that we talked about?
Minnesota's not really good against the receiver.
True.
But the game's being played in Chicago. The weather's going to be kind of bad. Potentially use one of those running backs on that team with either Khalil Herbert or David Montgomery.
Yeah. You have a preference?
I feel like Khalil Herbert is the big play type of guy on that side of the ball, and I think he's going to have better value as far as ownership goes and the cost of them. So I like Khalil Herbert as a guy that you're trying to fill out your lineup with.
Yeah, I like that. The next game we have the Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are favored by 9, 39.5 over under. I think the Bengals run away with this game. Basically, they're at home. They've been playing really well. They looked pretty good at the start of that game before the tragic situation happened. I saw Burrow going to Hayden Hurst quite a bit. I think he could be a decent play today. So
Hayden Hurst. Yeah, the very beginning. I mean, Cincinnati last week, they almost looked unstoppable. Tyler Boyd getting that first touchdown. Every one of the receivers, only receiver that wasn't really involved was Chase, and I could see him having a big game. Again, they're one of those teams that fire on all cylinders, and I think they're gonna do that again this week. So I think all the guys on the Bengals are kind of in play.
Yeah. I mean, other than Mahomes, we've got all the big quarterbacks on this slate. It's been a while since we've had that. We've had Hurts and Allen and Burrow and all these guys on the same slate. So I think, one of these quarterbacks is definitely the way to go. Trying to decide which one, but Joe Burrow is definitely in the mix. Jamar Chase, as you mentioned, he had a career day against the Ravens. Was that last year? I think. He had like 3 touchdowns and just like 40 something fantasy points. Just a monster day. And then Hayden Hurst, he's only 3,100 on DraftKings. So I think that's a really good value. Also only $12 on Yahoo. He had 17 and 17.3 DraftKings points the last time he faced Baltimore. 6 catches for 53 yards on 7 targets. So I like Hayden Hurst as well. I think Irwin is going to be moved kind of out of the rotation, with Hurst back. I don't think he's a great play. He was getting a lot of targets the last couple of weeks, but with Hurst back, I don't see that happening. So probably Burrow, Chase, and Hurst for me. Anyone else in this game that you recommend?
No. I'm figuring that the Ravens are going to have to be throwing the ball quite a bit.
Yeah.
At least come the second half. But the Ravens are already in it, so I don't see them doing too much to potentially lose playoff hopes or lose players along the way. So
yeah, they're already resting J.K. Dobbins. I saw that. So
yeah.
So
it's one of those games that the end of the year and playoffs are about to happen next week. Like we were saying, I think they'd rather be safe than try to go out there and do a whole bunch. So
I agree. Next game is a complete fade for me. Houston Texans and Indianapolis Colts. I have no interest in this game whatsoever.
Yeah.
Anybody you like in this game?
No, not really. I don't even know what's happening in these games anymore. They're just two teams that aren't doing well at all, and they don't really have any momentum at all for any part of their team. Maybe you could take you could take somebody on the Texans side. I don't even know who the starting quarterback is for the Texans this week. If it's going to be, I don't know.
Is Mills again? I think it's Mills. I don't even know myself, but the Colts have their merry-go-round of quarterbacks. They just keep rotating out. So this game is a mess.
What a big disappointment this year for those Colts.
Yeah, I mean, they went and got Matt Ryan, and you thought, they might be able to do something. They never were able to put it together. So
no, not at all.
Jonathan Taylor, was a big disappointment. So it was a bad year for me. Next game we have the Jets and the Dolphins. Dolphins are favored by 3.5 as a 37 over under. You've got Joe Flacco and Skylar Thompson playing in a must-win game, so that's pretty interesting. I think both defenses are in play here, though, and I don't really like much else, honestly. So what's your take on this one?
Joe Flacco is going to throw the heck out of the ball, so you could put Garrett Wilson into that lineup just because Miami's not very good against the receiver. The game's being played in Miami, so the weather's not going to really be an issue. As far as on Miami side of the ball, having Skylar Thompson kind of delegating that and being QB, I don't know. I don't really like anything on that side of the ball. And the defense for the Jets are, number one against pretty much everything other than the run. So one guy I'd probably have would be Garrett Wilson but other than that, probably nobody.
Yeah. They'll have. I think they'll probably put Sauce Gardner on Jalen Waddle, and then is it DJ Reed? Is that his name? Will be against Tyreek Hill probably. Yeah, that's how I think they'll match up. But without Tua, I mean, it's just really hard to know what they're going to do. So I don't really like the Dolphins' offense in this game. Next game, Carolina and New Orleans, another game that I'm fading. Anybody that you like in this game at all? I know it's a divisional game. I think it's probably going to be lower scoring. Those kind of games usually are. Anything at all for you?
Maybe a big play, kind of throw a guy to fill in your lineup with Raheed Shaheed.
Okay.
He's a rookie. He's been coming on as of late. He's a fast big play type guy. Carolina got torched last week with Brady throwing to Evans. So maybe something like that happens again this week. The game's being played in New Orleans, right?
Yeah.
So again, no weather. That's going to be an issue. But other than that, I'm kind of fading the game as well.
Yeah. Sorry, King of Smack. We're sitting here talking trash about your Colts. We're just trying to give our honest take, but maybe they'll turn it around next year. You can only hope.
Mhm.
Then we have the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh obviously is trying to get in. They need a New England loss, and I think that's it. If they win and the Patriots lose to the Bills, which I would expect, then I think the Steelers are going to get in the playoffs. They're favored by 2.5. They have a 40 over under. I really like the Steelers defense. 3,200 on DraftKings, 3,900 on Fanduel, only $11 on Yahoo. Besides their defense, anyone else, maybe a Najee Harris that stands out?
Yep. Yeah. I like Najee Harris. I like how their backs have been playing.
Yeah.
As of recent, Jalen Warren kind of reminds me of a young Austin Eckler. Kind of
Mhm.
has the same body type, runs, within his shoulders. And I don't know. There's something about him that intrigues me a lot. Again, he might be another one of those guys that you can throw into that flex play after you filled out your
Yeah.
lineup. But yeah, both backs are in play, and I do like the Steelers defense a lot. So
Yeah. Next game is the Chargers and the Broncos. This game is going to depend out on how the Bengals game goes. The Bengals win. The Chargers will probably be resting their starters because they don't have a chance to move up in the seeding. So I think that they're probably going to rest their starters. I don't know what's going to happen, so I'm kind of leaving this game alone. The Broncos have been horrible this year. I don't really like anybody on their team. And if the Chargers aren't playing their starters, I'm not going to go there either. So that's going to be very lineup dependent, what I do in that game. Then we have the Giants and the Eagles. The Eagles are favored by 16, 42 over under, but the Giants are going to be resting a lot of their starters. I know they're starting Davis Webb at quarterback. And Jalen Hurts is supposed to be back for the Eagles. So I would think the Eagles would absolutely roll in this game. I think, Hurts and Sanders are probably my two favorites just because even if they have a big lead, they're still going to run the ball. And I like the Eagles defense, of course. So anybody else that you like from this game?
Just it's a funny game as well. Just those backup running backs, either Gainwell or Boston Scott. Maybe those are guys that you can throw into your lineup to fill it out. But
Yeah.
I'm kind of on the same page with you. I like the defense. I like Hurts, and I like Sanders. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
It's interesting because they should blow them out, but they still need to win because they haven't clinched their division yet. So if the Cowboys win and they lose, then the Cowboys win the division. So it is a big game for the Eagles, even though they're playing against the backups for the Giants. So it's pretty weird. The next game is the Cardinals and the 49ers. San Francisco is favored by 14.5, 39.5 over under. Niners are playing for the 2 seed to keep it from Minnesota. They could potentially get the 1 seed if the Eagles lose. So that's out there too. But I like the Purdy and Kittle connection. George Kittle is one of my top plays on this slate. Arizona's allowed the most fantasy points to tight ends. And ever since Purdy became the quarterback, he's just been rolling. So I do like George Kittle. I also like the 49ers defense. Maybe some Christian McCaffrey. Anything else that you like in this game?
No, as far as on the Arizona side of the ball, maybe Greg Dortch.
Okay.
Would be a potential that you could throw in there.
He came up big against the Buccaneers last week. So
for sure. And then Connor's out. So his backup is Ingram. I don't know who's the quarterback. Are they playing
McSorley, I think? I don't even know.
Story or Bluff?
Let's see. It's I think it's Blau, David Blau.
David Blau.
Yeah.
That was an interesting guy. I kind of followed his career when it first started, coming out of Purdue.
Yeah.
It was like, I turned on a game and it was so exciting, and just watching him beat Ohio State a couple years ago was I always try to see where he was going to go. I thought he was going to be a big play. But as far as anyone else goes on the Cardinals, I don't really like anyone else. So
I saw him a little bit at Detroit, but I think that isn't Hopkins is out, isn't he?
Hopkins is out as well.
Yeah. So they have limited weapons. I think Dortch could be a good play.
Maybe Trey McBride.
Maybe Trey McBride. He had a really nice game last week. After I had kind of given up on him playing him 2 weeks in a row. So that's how it goes sometimes. But Yeah. So I think McBride could be a nice value tight end if you're looking for a value tight end for sure. Next game, we have the Rams and the Seahawks. This game is a win, and then Green Bay has to lose for the Seahawks to get in. If the Rams win, then if Detroit beats Green Bay, then they're in. So it's a big game. Seattle's favored by 6. It has a 41.5 over-under. I think Geno Smith is in play here. He had one of his best games of the year against the Rams in Week 13. He had 367 yards, 3 touchdowns, only 1 interception for 28 DraftKings points. And both Metcalf and Lockett absolutely went off. The Rams have allowed the 9th most fantasy points to wide receivers this year, which is kind of interesting because you think of them as a better secondary than that, but they haven't been this year. So, yeah, I like both receivers. I like Geno Smith. I think Cam Akers has been playing well on the other side, and Seattle struggled to stop the run. So besides those 4 plays, anyone else that you like?
Potentially as a value play, Noah Fant.
Okay.
Noah Fant got in the end zone last time they played as well. So I like that. What I'm hoping happens in this game, unfortunately for Geno Smith, I'm hoping they lose this game.
Yeah.
It's going to make that night game so much more fun. It gives Detroit a
yeah.
Well, I win.
Yeah, I actually am too. I think it's kind of unfair, what the NFL did. So if the Rams win, then that's a play-in, get-in game for both teams. I think that's only fair. So I am kind of cheering for the Rams as well, even though they're going against Detroit. And you could say that, they're not going to have anything to play for. I don't believe that for a second with Dan Campbell. But, yeah, I think that's the best case scenario for the NFL is that both teams have something to play for. So
for sure.
Yeah. All right. Last game, the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Commanders. Dallas is favored by 7, has a 40 over-under. I like all of Dallas and basically none of Washington. I don't trust Washington. I can't believe that their coach didn't know that they could be eliminated from the playoffs with a loss. That was incredible.
Just ridiculous.
Yeah, there's no reason for that whatsoever in today's world of technology and social media that you could not know that. I mean, I think everybody in that press conference room knew that they could be eliminated. So that's crazy. But CeeDee Lamb, I think he's the clear top play for me in this game. He had a nice game last time they faced the Commanders, and he's just been on a tear lately. So I definitely like CeeDee Lamb. They have been Washington has been decent against the pass though, but I still like Dak Prescott and the Cowboys defense. So
yeah, Cowboys defense is probably number 1 for me this week.
Yeah, I like their defense a lot. I would like it even more if they went with Carson Wentz, but they're going back to Taylor Heineke, so I think it's a little bit better for Washington. Or actually, no, they're going with Sam Howell. That's right, they're going with Sam Howell. They've got Sam Howell. And their starting running back is Jonathan Williams. So this is interesting. Yeah. Yeah, Dallas should dominate this game. You never know. But, I think the Cowboys defense is a really good play too. Did you have anything for Prizepicks?
No, I don't have anything for Prizepicks right now.
Okay, that's okay. I've got Miles Sanders more than 63.5 rushing yards and CeeDee Lamb more than 63.5 receiving yards. Those are my top Prizepicks plays. If you haven't joined DFS Coach Talk yet, please join us at dfscoachtalk.com. We have memberships that start as low as $9 a week. We also have our NFL playoffs promo that we'll be announcing next week, so you definitely want to stay tuned for that. Steve, I was thinking last week of the year we could probably do like a Fanduel 2 Brains lineup. I don't know if we've done one of those all year. Maybe one.
Yeah, let's do it.
So let's go ahead and wrap the show up with that. So I'll let you take the first pick.
All right. I'm going to go. Let me go look at my thing real quick. Oh my God.
And let me check the chat for questions while you're doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a question. Who would you take on FanDuel? Allen, Gabe Davis, Diggs, and Freiermuth, or Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Hunter Henry?
Ooh. That's interesting. I would probably go with the Eagles on that one.
Yeah, that's a loaded question, but I kind of agree.
Okay, number one, I'm going to go with Kenneth Walker.
Okay. I'm going to take Jalen Hurts.
Okay. I'm going to go with Jamar Chase.
Okay. I'll take Trey McBride for some value.
All right. I'm going to go with Tyler Algier.
Okay. I'll take Dallas's defense.
All right. Where are we at?
We got 6,166 per position. So
okay. Let me see. I'm gonna go with it's a tough one. What, 2 wide receivers left?
yeah, we have 2 wide receivers and a flex.
Mm-hmm. I'll go with Raheed Shaheed.
Okay. He's 5,800. I'll take Now it's weird. Fanduel has the night game on here too, so
It does.
I'm going to take AJ Dillon.
Yeah. One position left. How much do we have left?
58.
Interesting. Well, I'm gonna go with we're gonna go can I get a DJ Shark?
Yeah. Let's say you could also get Greg Dortch. He's even cheaper.
Get
but
Dortch as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Where's that game being played at? The Arizona game?
San Francisco.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I do like Dortch.
And you got and it sounds crazy, but he's been playing really well for Dallas. You got T.Y. Hilton at 5,400 too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's just getting more and more involved in that offense. So that's kind of that's interesting as well.
Just whoever you think. I mean, just trust your gut.
Yeah. So, you know what, man? I'm gonna go with guy that we were talking about earlier. How much do we have left? 5,800. He's at $6,000, so that won't work. But I'm gonna go with DJ Shark on this one.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we've got Jalen Hurts, Kenneth Walker, Tyler Algier, Raheem Shaheed, DJ Shark, Jamar Chase, Trey McBride, AJ Dillon, and the Cowboys defense.
I like it.
I like
it, Josh.
I like it too. All right. Well, let's go ahead and do our little giveaway thing real quick, and then we will be on our way. We've got inactives are about to be announced any second here. Actually, we should just stick around and see what they announce. Let's do that. It's only going to be a matter of a minute or two.
You guys be able to give a core for DK.
Okay. Let's see. Najee Harris or Aaron Jones? Oh my gosh, I'm biased, but I'm going to say Aaron Jones. He had 4 touchdowns the last time they played Detroit at Lambeau. So,
yeah, I just like the way, I like his ability. He's more explosive. Um,
Yeah.
I like the quarterback play better. I like the team better. I like
Mm-hmm.
the defense is going to put him in better positions. I mean, there's just so much to it where
Yeah.
Aaron Jones, you know,
Yeah. I mean, I agree as a Packers fan, but I think that that's a good take. I think that they're going to have to rely more on the run game. They threw 43 times last time they played in Detroit. I think they probably throw half that tonight. So
mhm.
in the cold, it
The,
just sets
ol-
up.
the, ol- the only thing that could kind of push Najee in there is AJ Dillon.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
because he's
That
going
is
to get those
true.
goal line, he's going to get those goal line touches.
Mm-hmm.
But
So for the DraftKings core, who do you want to use as a defense? Do you want to use Dallas again, or do you? I kind of like Pittsburgh at only 3,200. I think
yeah,
that's a good
and
play.
I like the Panthers as well
Okay.
as a defense in that one too at 2,500
Okay.
going against.
Um, but let's just do 5 core players, and then they can use whatever defense they
Okay.
want. I think that's the best way to go about it usually. All right, so I'll go ahead. I'm going to go with Josh Allen this time.
Okay.
We're gonna do 5 players. So just
Yep. I'm gonna do Kenneth Walker again.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with some value. I'm gonna take James Cook.
I like it. I'm gonna go with Jamar Chase.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And if I take Dawson Knox, that leaves you 4,400 with the defense. Yeah, I think that can work. So it's Josh Allen, James Cook, Kenneth Walker, Jamar Chase, and Dawson Knox will be the DraftKings 2 brains core.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, we, believe it or not, are at the end of the NFL regular season. It went by so fast.
Oh my gosh.
It's just crazy to believe it's already over. But we will have, I don't know if we'll have any more podcasts, probably not, because you'll just have a couple of games each day. But, of course, our lineups and our DraftKings cores will be posted in Discord as always. Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Just thanks for everyone for the praying to get DeMar Hamlin. It's great to have him back, man. And just enjoy the games. So
Yeah. And Travis just mentioned the DraftKings contest. I'm going to go ahead and post that in here too, so people that aren't members yet have a chance to get in there. All right, real quick here.
Did your season end?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Are you talking to you? Okay. Were you talking to me, or was
I was talking to you. Did
Oh, okay.
the
Yeah.
championship was figured out? No one was involved in that game.
I lost in the semifinals by 6 points. Just had a horrible game from Devontae Adams, so that kind of killed me.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then my wife won the championship again. So
My wife, she sat Josh Allen last week, right? And and played Prescott. But then she was playing my brother. My brother had Diggs going, and
yeah,
my wife was up by 11, and Diggs only got 3.6. But they're allowing him to use Diggs this week, so we'll see how that plays out.
So we got the inactives. Let's see here. The Bucks haven't put theirs in yet. That's interesting. Mark Andrews is inactive. Tyler Huntley, J.K. Dobbins, they're all inactive for the Ravens. Are starting. The Ravens are starting Anthony Brown at quarterback. So that's very interesting. Anyone else that's starting anyone or resting anyone major here? I'd like to see the Bucks inactive. Surely that's listed somewhere. See if I can find that real quick before we get out of here.
Who's that third string running back for the Bucks? You got Rasheed White. You got Leonard Fournette. Is it going to be Keyshawn Vaughn? Is that guy?
Yeah, it could be. Okay, so for the Bucks, Julio Jones, Carlton Davis, Logan Ryan, Mike Edwards, Vita Vea, Donovan Smith, Carl Nassib are inactive.
Okay.
So, yeah, they're probably not going to be playing their starters long at all, I wouldn't think, based on that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's where we're at. Don't really see anything else major for inactives. Looks like that's the majority. And then Mark Andrews is, of course, as I mentioned, he's out too. Just checking real quick. Yeah, I don't see anything else. All right, guys. The winner this week is going to be Saruji W. So if you could reach out to myself or Coach on Twitter, we'll be sure to get you your PayPal ticket. Hope everybody has a great Sunday. Looking forward to ending the season the right way. Let's absolutely crush it. And we'll be back again next year with our NFL podcast as we look to crush it in NFL, DFS, and Prize Picks. Thank you.